let's get going now. Open up that third eye. Here we go. Now, Siddhartha, his life is in fact a mix of fact and legend. We have no historical certainty when it comes to the Buddha. There's actually two chronologies with no approximate date. There's a 200-year span involved. One chronology lists his lifetime from 566 to 486 BC, and the second chronology lists his life as 488 to 368 BC. These writings, these two chronologies, come from Sri Lanka in the Pali language, and they were written down, well, a good 100 years after his death. As I mentioned, he's a historical figure that is mixed with legend. Many stories arise from his life that form a body of legend, similar to those surrounding Christ. Now, Siddhartha is in fact a young Brahmin. He spends many lifetimes before his incarnation as Siddhartha. He takes a vow to achieve nirvana, to become a Bodhisattva, one who intends to become enlightened, yet remains behind on earth in the cycle of rebirth to help others. And he passes from life to life, performing virtuous deeds until his last birth, which is as Siddhartha. Now, according to legend, he prostrates himself before Pamkara, spreads out his hair for the master to walk upon. Well, the master is impressed and promises fulfillment, future enlightenment, as one of a line of Buddhas or enlightened ones. The young Brahmin rises into the air as proof that he will soon, at least one day, become a Buddha. Now, his conception, Siddhartha's conception, is rather miraculous. He's conceived in a vision. His mother, Maya, dreams of a white elephant that enters her right side into her womb. The elephant is in fact an incarnation of a Bodhisattva. He holds a lotus blossom in his trunk. All nature manifests its joy at the conception of Siddhartha. Birds sing, flowers bloom, stuff like that. Now, the Brahmin priests interpret this dream as a foretelling of a birth of a son, who will either be a universal emperor or a Buddha. His birth is in fact miraculous. His mother Maya grasps a tree and bears her son from her right side. Now, as he enters this world, as Siddhartha enters the world, Brahma and the gods declare that this is his final birth. There's a celestial celebration at the birth of Siddhartha. Now, the family name is Gautama, and he's named Siddhartha, which means he whose purpose is accomplished. There's an obvious spiritual life intended for the young child. As I mentioned, his father is a chieftain to a warrior tribe. His name is Kasharya, I believe. And he wants his son to be a prince, the next ruler of the clan. Their homeland is in northern Bihar, which is Nepal, the Sakyamuni region, I believe. Now, Siddhartha studies and trains very hard, as befitting a future king. He's literate, and he knows the arts of war. Now, his father shields his son from the harsh realities and trials and tribulations of ordinary life. Siddhartha lives a very sheltered existence. Now, there's a marriage involved here when he turns around 15 or so. And his wife is Yashodhara, a legendary beauty. And he ends up with a son known as Rahula. But, the luxurious life of the palace and domestic bliss is not enough for Siddhartha. He goes into melancholia. Now, to escape his melancholia, he takes several trips outside the palace, a series of chariot rides around the city. And in these chariot rides, he learns the true reality of life. old age, the infirmities of aging, sickness, the pain of illness, and death, his own eventual demise. Well, he's disturbed by the thought of what awaits him, and he has a revelation. Universal suffering is the human condition, the reality of all living things. So he steals away in the dark of the night because material wealth and family life cannot bring satisfaction or inner peace. So at the age of 29, he abandons his kingdom, his wife and his son, and his worldly life, and becomes a seeker of knowledge, a wandering ascetic. On a quest, he goes from teacher to teacher. He tries first yogi meditation with Brahmin hermits, and Siddhartha achieves a higher plane of consciousness, but he's not satisfied. It doesn't answer his quest. Now, his quest is a way to conquer suffering and find tranquility of mind. Now, the next step for Siddhartha is he tries very, very severe austerities, mortification of the flesh, mortification of the body, prolonged fasting, suspension of breathing. He comes close to death, but he realizes that a ruined body is not the answer. Now, this is the skeletal, emaciated Buddha that often occurs in art. All right, so his search or quest to overcome the inherent suffering in the human condition is the driving force behind his quest for knowledge. He spends 6 years in the company of of 5 fellow ascetics, but he realizes that emaciation is not the way. So he takes food. He relaxes his ascetic disciplines, and his 5 fellow ascetics desert him. They go to Sarnath near Varanasi. Well, one night, while sitting facing east, he's sitting beneath a bodhi tree. He takes a vow not to move until he attains enlightenment, a resolution to the problem of suffering. Now, this is happening during a full moon, and he ascends into 4 layers of progressive insight, the 4 stages of trance, the dhyana, I believe it's called. There's heightened concentration, heightened cognition. Well, while he's in these 4 stages of trance, Mara, the god of death and desire, assaults him with distractions. Now, in some traditions, this massive trance, this 4 stages of trance, only lasts through the night. In other traditions, it's 49 days of trance. Well, during this trance-like state, he observes all his past lives, and he attains enlightenment. He becomes a Buddha, and the heavens and gods rejoice. Now, for 7 weeks, he sits meditating, pondering, because he's not sure what to do with the knowledge he's gained. He doesn't know how to relate his message to the masses, so he despairs, because he feels he's not going to find anyone capable of grasping the truth he has just mastered. He's worried that he's going to encounter hostility and derision when he shares the truth. Well, while he's pondering what to do, the Snake King shades him with his 7 hoods. Well, Brahma turns up and basically tries to convince Siddhartha to share his knowledge. Brahma tells him that humanity are lotuses in a pool, rooted in the mud, struggling towards the light, and that some will eventually blossom. So Brahma prevails upon Siddhartha because all of us have a Buddha nature, a potential for enlightenment. And Brahma urges Siddhartha to teach and to preach his message. So Siddhartha yields to the god's urging. He's 35 years old at this point, and he goes in search of his fellow ascetics and finds them in a deer garden / park in Sarnath.